and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 315. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Won't Call Me Les. It's Monday, September 19th, 2016.
2016,
yeah.
We're trying to skip ahead a year.
We're a day late recording because we both had stuff to do yesterday, so.
That's truth.
So knitting. Would you like to go or do you want me to go?
I can go first. So I am working on a Ketterdam. It is out of, let me flip it around so you can see the right side. It is out of Leading Men Fiber Arts and the Great Sweater Debates. It is being knit on size 3 needles. I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am around 3 repeats in. So it is growing very slowly. I like how it's coming out with the small speckles. It's looking pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with that. This was the colorway that they did for SSK this year. Mm-hmm. So I'm enjoying that. It's on, I think it's their soliloquy base. It's the BFL that's got like 600 and some yards. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping to get the whole project done out of one skein, but if I can't, then I'll use one of these awesome colors in it and pick up like contrast. One of those and do the
final repeat or something.
The cabled edging, because it's got an attached edging at the end. I'll do the attached edging out of that. So that's Ketterdam. So that's the first thing that I'm working on. And the second thing that I'm working on is I finished my first Man Can Fly sock. This is out of Desert Vista Dye Works. This is an Afterthought heel sock, and I did the Afterthought heel using, I keep buying Marigold Jen, and I've only seen her have them at Maryland Sheep and Wool, has like 200 yard.
Yeah, like mini
skeins. So I had gotten this blue one, and it matched pretty perfectly. Yeah. So I use that. It's got a pretty short cuff because this is not for the Desert Vista sock of the month. These were my socks from last month that I'm still working on. So I am going to work on the second and then cast on another pair of socks as soon as I get these ones done. I'm trying to finish a couple projects because I have a crazy amount of projects right now on the needles. So in my mind, like, you can't see, but beside Leslie is like a whole cart of projects.
Cart full of stuff.
So I would like to finish a couple things before, because apparently what I did during Stash Dash was just cast stuff on and didn't actually finish much. So I need to finish. These are ways not to win Stash Dash. I need to finish some of the things, and I want to cast on some new things for our Halloween craft all the things. So I need to get moving. There's some good knit-alongs coming up with other people, like the Carolina girls do Socktober, and Boston Jen does Pigskin Party, so there's a lot of cool knit-alongs coming up besides our Halloween one that I want to maybe participate in. Yeah, definitely. So what are you knitting on?
I'm also knitting on Ketterdam. This is Laura's pattern, and I'm using Quigu. I'll put the color in the show notes, but it's just
you are further than I am, and
purple.
You just started that Saturday at the earliest.
Yeah, I think Saturday.
Because I bought the yarn at House of Yarn for you.
I think I wound it Saturday and started it Sunday.
Okay.
Maybe, something like that. So yeah, I like how it's coming out. I like the speckle and how it brings out that linen stitch. But what I think is funny is, so the pattern calls for a 3. A size 3 needle and fingering weight yarn. Laura knits much looser than I do.
That's true.
She does list a gauge in the pattern as well, so you don't have to go with that needle size. So I just sort of took a guess and started on a 6, and it was too tight. Like, it was too, and it's on a 7, and still feel how, like, tight it is compared to yours.
But it's a pattern that you want to be a little bit more dense. Yeah, no, I think it looks better when it's dense versus...
I'm not complaining about it or anything, but even looking at it, it looks more dense than yours.
Well, this is a light fingering, too.
Oh, well, I guess that's part of it.
So, like, look at the size of your yarn compared to mine.
That's true. Yours is thinner. Mine is a little bit fatter. So mine's the purple.
Yep.
So I went up 4 sizes, 4 needle sizes, and I'm on like the 4th repeat, I think. I had to rip it out twice because I kept forgetting, like, my brain was like, you know what the pattern says. You don't have to read every line. And my counts kept getting off. But Laura provides a handy little, after this row on each repeat, your count should be this.
Yeah.
So I finally figured out what I was doing wrong and fixed it. And so now I'm about 4 repeats.
My test knitters helped me with that because I had all those numbers wrong. And they're like, no, you're actually decreasing 8 over the course of the repeat. I had it decreasing 4, so we fixed it before I put it up live. The pattern is now for sale on Ravelry, so that's pretty cool.
And it's Ketterdam, and it's a reference to Six of Crows.
Which is an awesome book, and the
is.
second one comes out soon, so I'm super excited about that. I might see if I might buy the first one on Audible. So okay. So I can listen to it again, because I read it the first time.
Yeah. I listened to it, and Kobe listened to it, and we both really liked it, so.
It's a good one.
I also did a few repeats on my stone
Oh,
crafts.
look at you.
Not many, but a few. Crap is going everywhere. This is out of Wool Eyes of Lynn and the Little Red Riding Hood colorway. Thank you, Gigi, who texted me and told me the right colorway name.
There were a bunch of people who put it on other places as well.
But Gigi knows that I read my phone a lot more than I read anything else.
Yeah.
So I've done,
nice of her.
I think 3 repeats since last week.
That's
Not
pretty.
a whole lot. I got a little bit done while I was watching American Horror Story, My Row in a Nightmare. It's the 6th iteration of American Horror Story.
Yeah, I have no interest in that.
Because I binge watched the 5th one, which was Hotel. In the first episode or so, I was like, what? And then finally, it grabbed me, and I binge watched it for.
I'm not a good horror watching person.
Yeah, no, this definitely isn't for you. But I didn't like the Carnival season, which I think was 4. It was 3 or 4. I can't remember. I think it was 4 because
they switch actors in every season, right?
Some actors I don't think Kathy Bates was in the first season, but after that she's been in every season. Leela Rabe is in each season. This one's kind of interesting because they do sort of sorry, we're going a little bit off topic, but they do sort of a reenactment. So they do it like they're doing a true crime show. So you got the real people who sit and talk to the camera and talk about what's happening. And those are played by 2 totally different actors than the people who do the reenactment. It's really funny.
Okay.
And Cuba Gooding Jr. is in it this season. Kathy Bates is in.
You know, the other movie those 2 people are in that is one of my favorite movies of all time. Rat Race. Have you ever seen Rat Race?
It's been a long time, but yeah, I have seen it.
Should have bought a squirrel.
Yeah. Kathy Bates is
she's hilarious.
Hilarious. And I do love her take on getting old in the society of Hollywood and the judgment and everything. She's hilarious. I like her a lot. Anyway, so those are my works in progress. That's all I got.
Cool. Oh, I forgot a work in progress. Oh,
Your turn is over.
Oh. So what I forgot was I swatched. So this is my Jacob swatch. Isn't it pretty? It's so lovely.
Is this
I want to just roll in it. It's Ross
that was
Farms
my
Jacob
question.
Sport. It's a 3-ply, so it's nice and round. And I have no idea what I'm going to do out of it. So I thought I'd start a swatch. So this is a 30-stitch swatch. And I just knit till it was square. It's around 6x6. And I washed it in Soak Celebration, which is a discontinued scent, which makes me want to hoard all the Soak Celebration. And I'm going to get out my Acreworks tool later and see what the final... But I love how dense... For me, that's super dense.
It is. What size needle did you have?
4.
That's not bad for sport.
No, so it's a nice
Do
plump.
you think it's because it's dense or because it floofs enough to make it look dense?
I don't know. This is
Floof
what
is a technical term.
it is. No, I mean it was pretty dense before. I'm showing Leslie things that you can't see. Such a good podcaster. So, it's nice and dense in the skein, too. I actually feel like it's more of a DK weight than a sport, but that's fine. And so how I got this is I traded Amy my Washington Square sweater that didn't quite fit me. I think I've discovered that yoke sweaters are not good fits for me. or I've not been able to knit a yoke sweater that's fit me correctly.
Grace really looks great on you, but that's bottom up, right? Or is
Grace?
that...
Grace isn't a yoke, it's a raglan.
Okay.
Yeah, that's top down, and that's
really
a raglan. Thank you. So I am going, this is Alice, is the colorway.
Well, it's the sheep it came from, right?
Yes. There's Alice right there. I love heritage breed. So she's spotted, but when you mix all those together, you get this awesome colorway. So I'm enjoying, I cannot wait to knit. I have so many options of things that I might knit. There's a Vera Vaccamelli sweater from her.
I gotta say her name
correct. I know. Valimaki?
Vera Valimaki.
Yes, see? I said, that time I said it right. Oh, it's been a long day too. So, sorry, Vera. I said my kids were doing book talks on, they were doing video book talks for the first time, my 8th graders, one of my classes, and they came down and I was like, it doesn't matter if you mispronounce the author's name terribly, just say it with confidence. Yeah. It'll be fine. So anyway, that's 90% of my life right there. That's my trick. Bake it till you make it. So it's nice and poofy, and I have 1,500 yards, maybe a little bit more. So that is going to be an awesome sweater. I just have to figure a gauge and figure out which one it's going to be. There were a bunch of sweaters that I liked. That so hers that I liked was, let me see if I can find it on my phone real fast. So it's out of that color book.
MadColor? Oh no, Vera's
Color Wheel Knits. It's this one. Let me make it big.
Oh gosh, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that.
So I really like that one, and it's got these pockets, and I think it will look flattering.
And it's a little longer in the back, right?
Yeah. So it's Len Kaliki.
Yeah, we'll just link it because I'm
not
gonna, I'll say it.
So it's really, really pretty, and it was in the Color Wheel Knits, which was put out by Cooperative Press. And the yarn that it's done out of is a superwash merino that's discontinued. That's a sport weight, and I'm supposed to get 20 stitches equals 4 inches on size 4s. So I think, I don't know if I did or not. We'll find out. It's a mystery. So that is my last work in progress. I did finish something. This is a Garter Earflap Hat, and I knit this out of, so before I teach my yarn choice class, I have like 10 of these, and I try to add 1 or 2 to it. So if I can find a breed-specific yarn, that's always pretty cool. The last one I added was Encore, which was an acrylic wool blend. But this one is going in next. I didn't finish it in time for the class because the weather and Memphis traffic was against me. I had it almost done. I had started the decreases. So I got to work on it a little bit in Nashville, which was lots of fun. So this is my cute little toddler sized hat. It fits Pearl's head quite nicely. She does not care for it though.
Pearl is Laura's dog.
Yes. Yes. So it probably would fit Humberto. He would probably swim in it. It would be amazing. See, that might have to happen later.
He could make it his little cave.
He could. He's got a little cave that he doesn't go into. So that's it for me for finished objects. But you have like an FO parade going on over there.
No,
so
I didn't go that far. I just haven't.
You finished stuff that you've been working on for a while, so
yeah,
that's exciting.
I haven't had finished objects in a while. So I did finish a couple of things. I'm gonna borrow your sunglasses. Well, that was a very dramatic sigh. That was like.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Just like...
Wesley's breaking my hedgehogs.
I'm not breaking nothing. So I finished a pair of socks. These are, I haven't even tried them on. I hope they fit.
I'm sure they will.
These are Vanilla is the New Black, the fingering weight edition.
Did you try them on after you finished the heels?
Nope.
See? Oh, they might not fit.
If they don't fit me, they'll fit somebody. I'm not worried about it.
It might be a bit too big. Because that heel has ribbing in it, so it stretches. That's what happened with mine. That's why they're going to back.
Oh,
so
these might go to back too if they don't fit. These are Vanilla is the New Black in Tokyo Subway color. I ended up getting them to match pretty perfectly.
Yeah, you did.
I think one is one row longer than the other. But this is HD Yarns in the Tokyo Subway colorway. I like for, if you're very specific about your stripes matching exactly, I think HD is a good company to go with, along with Mustache, who does OCD packs, because they come in 2 separate balls. They're already wound exactly to the same place, and you can start them at the same time if you want, or one at a time, whatever makes you happy.
So what I was talking about is, so this heel has ribbing, and when I was putting it on, this stretched out, and so everything kind of moved down this way, and it stretched
it made
on
the foot
me.
longer.
Yes. It increased that way.
I'll try it on in a minute. The other thing I finished is my stripe study.
Yeah.
I wove in the ends but haven't snipped them, but it has been blocked.
Did you block it on top of towels? Don't you have blocking boards? I almost bought you blocking boards this weekend.
I don't actually have blocking boards. I have some of those foam things, but also I'm missing half the letters that go in them, because I bought the real, like...
You bought the play blocks.
Yeah.
So,
because I bought them, like...
House of Yarn has the cocoa knits that have, like, carpet on top, so when we drive through to go to SAF, we should get those for you.
Maybe. So, I finished it, and it is friggin' enormous. It is longer than a beach towel width-wise, so I don't know how long a beach towel is. Here.
Oh, I get to take a side?
So...
Wow.
It's ginormous.
That's gorgeous, though.
And I blocked it a little too aggressively.
So much funny.
Because you can see the holes in, like, where I did the short rows. It doesn't bother me, but I blocked it so aggressively that you can actually see where I turned. And didn't
it's
pick up
funny how your sizes, like, because you're such a loose knitter, and I'm a tight knitter. You're a tight knitter. How did that happen then? Because yours is so much bigger than mine.
What size needle did you use?
I don't know.
Because I think the pattern calls for a 5, and I used a 6.
I probably used a 5. Because I might have used a 4.
I don't remember what you used, but...
I don't either.
It's gigantic.
But yours is much bigger than mine. I need to reblock mine and knit another one.
Also, this is,
awesome.
Like, yardage-wise, this is bigger than yours.
Oh.
Because you used a paint box.
Mm-hmm.
And
which
those
are like 430
or something. And I used a soliloquy set by Leading Men.
So did you just keep adding stripes? Because it's the same number of stripes, I would think.
I didn't count the stripes.
So you just kept going until you ran out of...
So the accent colors, the colors that change, that's like 650 yards.
Oh.
And then this is Woolmiza. I ended up with probably about 50 yards left. So mine is bigger partially because I used more yarn.
Yours is bigger. By quite a bit.
Size queen. So yeah, I will keep
gorgeous.
It. Probably it'll be a gift for somebody, or it'll be a.
It's super pretty.
I don't know. I like it a lot, but I don't know that I'll wear it. So
you totally wear it. I wear mine all the time.
Yeah, no, it's on your. I like yours a lot more than I like mine. Believe it or not, I like your colors you chose.
Yeah, we're not trading.
I'm not gonna trade.
I thought about it for a second, and then I was like, no, I like mine.
But yeah, no, I had a good time knitting it. I think I'll probably knit it again at some point, but I think I'd like to use a hand spun for one of them.
Ooh.
I'm not sure which.
I would use a hand spun for both. And you could do, like, one of the Hello Yarn patchworks with it. That would be fun.
I think it might be a little long. Oh, it is a little long.
Guess they should come to me.
I think
I have bigger feet than you.
But maybe I'll just give them away on the show.
You could do that. Size 10s?
Yeah.
You totally do that.
I'll do
They're really
measurements with them stretched out and then do a giveaway on the show.
There you go. Because you're like 9.5.
I'm going to break this over my leg, though, before I put it back.
So. Those I can get at Loopy U. They're a little bit more expendable.
They're not the choppy, whatever.
Chappy. Which, now that I don't go to Stitches much anymore. I mean, I would like to go to Stitches. It hasn't... I loved Stitches Midwest when I used to be able to go, but...
We've really got to get out to Stitches West with Jasmine and Gigi one
Yeah, that'd be fun. I might have spent my afternoon looking at the hotels around Acadia National Park in Maine. While we're just randomly dreaming of things. Whatever.
Actually.
Um,
There we go.
oh. Why are there two of them?
There weren't. You just wore the same shirt last week that you did.
Oh. I totally did. Whatever.
That's okay.
I did laundry, I promise you.
You're clean. You don't smell bad.
Well, thank you. That's always a resounding positive comments.
Did you do any spinning?
I am spinning. I'm spinning the Leicester long wool that's for Spin Along. I have the first bobbin. Yes, I have the first bobbin almost done. Pearl has decided that she likes to eat fiber. So that's super fun and not at all conducive to spinning. So, yeah, it's on the big Lendrum, the Lendrum Saxony, on the largest whorl. So I'm doing a short forward draw, and I'm not adding much twist. So, and I'm on like a 10-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, you don't really need much twist because of the long staple.
Because the more twist you add, the harder it's going to get. So I'm not adding a ton of twist at all. So that's all the spinning that I'm doing. Have you spun at all?
No.
Okay.
I need to. Do you have the other bobbins for my wheel, right?
I do have the other bobbins for your
full?
wheel. Only one is full. So I will give you the others before you leave today. I have a bunch of stuff to give you.
Sweet. I like stuff.
So we have a book to review.
Yeah.
It is by TinCanKnits. It's their new collection. It is the MadColor collection.
MadColor
Yeah,
collection.
there we go. It is a good mix of patterns. There's a bunch of sweaters. There's a bunch of accessories. There's a bunch of blankets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good mix overall. This is something, some of these patterns were available before.
Mm-hmm.
So, ooh. We're having this issue again. Okay, so this retails for $18 digital and $23 for the digital plus the prints. So it's a good overall like mix of things.
Mm-hmm.
They also go into how different things like hues work
And they talk
and
about
saturation
the color
and
wheel.
contrast. That's a really good section.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the color wheel, how weirdos, hand-dyed and mill-dyed all change different effects. They have a Swatch-tastic little banner thing that's super cute. So if you knit your swatches this way, you could do this cute little banner thing out of them. They're just basically triangles that are, what do they say,
7 to 8 inches across the top.
Yes.
They'll give you a good measurement to be able to accurately measure your stitch and row gauge.
So I really like the Spotlight sweater. This was one that was already published, I think, for
You said it was Rose City
Knitty,
or some yarn crawl or something.
other
Knit Social.
Yeah, Knit Social. I think I could be totally wrong on that. So it was an event in Canada that it was done for. Super cute. I think the nieces would really like that. All their sweater patterns are sized from infant up to adult, which is always so nice.
And big sized adult, like
yeah,
like 4X
Yes.
or so usually.
I like the triptych. They
gloves.
remind me of Flying Geese,
Mm-hmm.
the quilt pattern, which is one of my favorite quilt patterns. So those are going to happen, and I feel like I should do those out of handspun. I think that would be really
That
cool.
would be really fun.
So those are super cute and fairly large charts. Oh, there's a lot of charts.
Yeah, but
Maybe
they're all
not.
for different sizes.
That's true. There's a bunch of different hats. So there's triangles, which is really, really pretty.
Yeah, you could go if you're doing the tonal or the saturation, you could go to as many as like 20 different colors if you're using the different hues.
There's dots,
Mhm.
which is super cute. There's a stripes pattern, which is just stripes, which is also cute. There's burnished, which I really like. It's a shawl pattern.
It's a new one. It wasn't.
Yeah, that one's new.
And in each pattern they have it in at least 2 iterations color wise, which is nice because sometimes just color choices on an item can really put you off, but if you see it more than one, it's easier to visualize, I think.
There's the Bounce Baby Blanket, which has been published before. I actually already own this, and when the pattern book released, they sent me a $5 off coupon for the pattern book. They did gift us this pattern book, but if you had pre-bought some of the patterns, they offered you a discount. There's Chromatic, a sweater.
Which this is also new for the book.
Yep.
And it's got some, the
baby version is super cute.
Yes. The raglan increases are yarn over, so it's like a detail.
Leslie really likes this, which is a wash.
Yes. It's a really interesting sort of half feather and fan, half stripe.
Yep.
And
then there's a lace section too.
Yeah, and they mix the color gradient in there as well. So there's a lot of visual interest to this.
Yep. And this, there's nice schematics for sizes, so you can see exactly how much, but only if I can get this angle right. You can see exactly how large and how it works out stole-wise. Again, lots of different color options. $19.99 is a great sweater.
Yeah, Laura and I both want to make
super
these.
cute, and I actually graduated high school in '99, so '99 has a cute. But I'd like to try it out of. It uses a worsted. I think I'd like to do a woolen spun, hand spun to knit that. I think that'd be fun.
I think it would be a really good mix because it's a light, airy sort of sweater.
Yeah, for sure. There is Marley, which is a giant blanket. I want to see some more directions on that one because it's marled effect, so I feel like they're combining yarns, and it does say sizes are Aran, bulky, and super bulky, but I don't know if they're combining a lace weight with a finger,
If they're holding two together.
Yeah, so I'm not certain what's happening there, and it could be a reading issue on my part, which always is
fundamental.
Yeah, seriously. There's the Bumble Sweater, which I think Becca's little one definitely needs out of hand spun.
I love that they size their patterns so broadly.
There's a good combination of different gender patterns as well.
And a lot of them are gender neutral enough that with the right colors they would work for either.
Definitely. There's the Pop Blanket, which is another one that's been published before, but that would be a great one out of hand spun as well. We are all about the hand spun. There's Wenlock, which was published, I think, in Pom Pom.
I think so, too. Like a year ago or somewhere near there.
But that's a great way of using gradients at the top. There's Slice, which Leslie is going to knit for me.
Yes.
Because I looked at all the charts and I was like, that is gorgeous. That is a lot of charts. So
my condition is that you have to pick the colors because that's always the hardest part.
I'll give you Plucky to knit out of.
There you go.
We can do that. That's not a problem at all. There's Polygon, which is a really, really cool blanket.
I think it's sort of like a more modern barn raising square sort of style where you can do, I think that another one that would be great in hand spun. You could just do bits and bobs.
Yeah, or leftover fingering weight, or it calls for DK weight, but you could definitely do it at any, as long as your sizing is consistent. I definitely think that you could do it. So they have lots of hot links in here, which I really like. The other thing that I really like is that it's their family that's doing the modeling. So I think that's really, really sweet as well.
Yeah.
So it's a great overall book, and that's kind of what I expect from them. Because they set the bar really high for themselves. And they're only competing with themselves, I feel like, because they're sort of in a genre to themselves. There aren't a lot of designers that do what they do. When it comes to the wide ranges of sizing and
the
aesthetic.
Design aesthetic, I feel like. They also always have really clear charts and really clear photographs that focus on the knitted item and not the styling.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So I really feel like they're sort of in their own category.
So if you were to, there were 20 different patterns, so you're talking $1 per pattern, essentially.
Especially if you don't own any of them.
Yes. But even if you do own a few, 3 of those sweater patterns would pay for the book.
I agree.
Basically. 3 of any of those patterns. If you're talking $6 is probably the norm per pattern now. at least. So sweaters have been in the $7 to $8 range now.
Yeah.
So you're talking easily
Not
paying
that they're
for
not
itself.
worth it, but
No.
they're generally more expensive than your accessories or your socks.
Yeah, no. Sweater, they're a lot more work,
Yeah.
so they should be more expensive than anything else. And when you're talking about like the Amy Herzog software, those go up to like $12, $14,
yeah.
which they should, because they're definitely worth it for what she does.
Yeah.
So that is MadColor by TinCanKnits. And check it out. There's lots of projects on Ravelry already, so take a look, see what you think. There's a great lookbook, and I think it's well worth it, for sure.
I think so, too. I mean,
for
if they
sure.
hadn't sent it to us for review, I would have bought it.
Yeah, we would have bought it, because that's what I've bought. I've bought the rest of their books for the most part, so that's always fun. What are you reading right now? Do you need me to go to the show notes?
I don't remember what I'm reading right now. I didn't put it in, but I did read a book this week called Carry the Ocean, which is by Heidi Cullinan, and she's a male romance writer. But this book was really interesting because while it was male romance, that aspect of it took up like 5% of the book. Most of the book was dealing with the main characters, and one had severe depression and clinical anxiety, and the other was autistic and had all these modifications that he used to help him function in the quote-unquote normal world. And it was just really insightful because it's told from both of their points of view.
Yeah.
And it was really insightful to sort of, I think she did a good job telling the story from an autistic point of view, at least from what I understand of autism, because everybody's autism is different.
Yes.
And I get that. But I think that she explained a lot of things through the character's growth that I have never really thought about before when it comes to autism. And depression, anxiety, I'm familiar enough with. But I think it was a really interesting book. So if those topics interest you, check out Carry the Ocean by Heidi Cullinan. Let's see, what else? I listened to the third Writer Chronicles book. Let me see what it was called. I listened to it so quick, I've already forgotten what it was called. The Death of Dogath. And those were the first three were the Writer Chronicles. Now the second three are the Writer Revelations, and the first one is Theft of Swords, and it's 20 hours long, and I've got 6 hours left. This week I have listened to a couple days. I've listened to it 12 hours. Saturday and Sunday each.
Wow.
I listen to it 12 hours because when I'm putting stuff away and organizing. So I really enjoy those. They're fantasy, sort of epic, and it's finally getting into a little bit of magic, and elves and dwarves, sort of, just a little bit, but it's very interesting. It's kept me I wouldn't say on the edge of my seat, but it's kept me really invested in continuing to listen. So that's what I've been listening to and reading.
I read Mighty Jack today by Ben Hatke, who has done some other graphic novels. He's a graphic novelist, and that came in, and I took around 20 minutes to read it. But it was really good. It's a retelling of Jack and the Beanstalk, but the main character, his mother is working 2 jobs. Their house is going through foreclosure, kind of like Jack and the Beanstalk. And he and his sister go to, a flea market one day with their mom. And she gives them, $5. And they ended up trading her car for this box of magic seeds. The main character has to look after his little sister, who's nonverbal, which is a really, really interesting twist. And there's some other twists and turns to it as well. It was a really good read. It's first in a series. We will definitely be getting the rest from my library. I would say 8 to 14 years old probably would be the level that you could read it at. You could always, I'm an adult and I read graphic novels all the time. So it just depends on what your interests are. But it was interesting for sure. And then I'm also reading The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. She writes a lot of fairy tale based books, and this one is no different. It's kind of got like a Baba Yaga type feel to it. There are 3 groups of people that the book centers on, and each of them have their own voice, and it changes points of view. There are the villagers who are very poor, and the way that their voice is demonstrated is it's in italics, and it's like them telling stories. Mm-hmm. And they are the people who harvest plants on this bog that has like an active volcano underneath it. So it's very like Yellowstone National Park, but a bog. And they fear a witch who lives in the bog. There's the wealthier people who have plenty of food to eat. They control the town, and they don't believe that there's a witch that lives in the bog, but they manipulate the less educated villagers into thinking there is, and once a year they make them sacrifice an infant to her by leaving it under a tree. And they think that animals are just tearing it apart. What they don't know is there is a witch that lives in the bog, and she is very confused as to why these villagers keep leaving their children underneath this tree. She's got a swamp monster that lives with her that spouts poetry, who's kind of like the essence of the bog, and an itty-bitty dragon who thinks that he is huge. So he's like the size of a Shih Tzu, but he thinks he is a mighty, mighty dragon.
Sounds like a really interesting book.
So one day, they come to get the baby from the villager, and the mother goes crazy, like absolutely crazy. And she tells them that she is going to find her daughter sometime. And one of the upper class, the main elder, his nephew's with him, and that kind of traumatizes the nephew, so he becomes one of the main characters as well. Then there's the baby, who the witch takes, what she does with the babies is she takes them to a neighboring town by skirting around this road that the rich people control, and so she typically feeds them goat's milk until it runs out, and when it runs out she feeds them starlight, which makes them a little bit magical, but she accidentally feeds this child moonlight, which makes her very magical. So now she has to keep her and raise her herself, but raising a magical child who doesn't understand consequences has its own issues. So it's been really, really interesting. Gorgeous cover. Absolutely stunning cover. She's written some other things like Witch's Boy was by her, which is another fairy tale based thing. She does a lot of fairy tale based genres. One of my, The Mostly True Story of Jack was one of hers, and Iron-Hearted Violet, which I have all of those in my library. So really, really good. Middle age type novel. So like 10 to 14, 16. So I'm enjoying it. And then the last thing I'm doing is I'm rereading The Book Whisperer because I need some ideas for work. So I'm rereading The Book Whisperer by Donna Lynn Miller. If you're an English teacher or have anything to do with teaching in general, it's a really, really good book about helping students find the correct books and how to get them interested in reading. So I really enjoy her stuff. I've met her several times. This is actually my 3rd copy of this book because I keep loaning them to people.
Giving them away.
And I never keep one for me. So that is what I am currently reading. Favorite things, I went to House of Yarn this past weekend and I taught some amazing classes. Everyone was super kind. Meg and Vicky are always amazing. I just had a really, really good time. Hey, Humberto.
He just clawed the bejesus out of me, so some people probably got a really
Did he like jump on you and claw you?
Well, he was like trying to get my attention.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So my pets are totally jerks, and they're totally in control of this house at this point. Are you just gonna hang out like that? Whatever. So House of Yarn was tons of fun. Great groups of people with interesting questions and really kept discussion going really well. So great classes. Anyway, we have SAF coming up. Leslie gets to go to SAF now.
So I wasn't originally going to get to go because I was scheduled for on-call with the new team that I'm on, and the other new guy had to switch because he had to go for a wedding. I told him I would only switch with him if he took that week.
Awesome.
So I do get to go. I'm on call immediately after, but so now I'm trying to decide what class to take because there's a Beth Smith. There's the fleece one that you're taking.
Yeah.
That I don't know.
The Fleece Fairy Godmother
if I'm
one.
interested enough to do a 3-hour class about that. But she also has like a spinning for speed class that afternoon.
Or that morning? Because that's in the afternoon.
Whatever the opposite is of what you're doing. And then, but there's also a basket weaving class that looks interesting.
Ooh.
So I have to decide what I'm going to take. There was something else that was interesting, but it was full.
Oh. I wonder what it was.
I forget what it was.
Abby's teaching a class too.
It might have been Abby.
Okay. And Franklin Habit's photography class might be on Saturday too, which might be interesting.
I'm not super interested in that.
We've taken a bunch of photography classes, and I took his last year, and it was really good. And this is just me tossing the cat every which way, apparently. It's going to be the end of the show. We do have a Halloween craft all the things going on. It will run until November 1st. Just sell it to us, and it counts, which is lots and lots of fun. I saw the cutest. Etsy sends me emails like every day.
Mine does. If like any shop that I favorite, sometimes if they put up like new stuff, I'll get an email that says, "Oh."
This was like, hey, this is some interesting stuff that you might be interested in on Etsy, and Etsy's blocked for me at work. Thank God. So one was like this baby in pants, and they had taken like 2 other pairs of pants and taken the legs off of them and made them into like octopus arms. And did like that pom-pom fringe. It was super cute.
That sounds really weird.
It was super cute. So, lots of cute ideas on Pinterest and Etsy for sure for Halloween type stuff. I'm totally in the mood for Halloween. My Halloween tablecloth has been on my table all year long. So now I feel like, oh, you're so cute. Now I feel like tis the season. So that's awesome. What else is going on? I think that's about it. Is there anything else that you needed to talk about? Portland? We're going to draw.
We're drawing this week for Portland.
Yes.
We are in final contract working out with the teachers this week. It's not because we have we're not like lawyers negotiating with each other. It's mostly like 2 weeks they'll go by and I'll be like, oh crap, I forgot to answer this question. And then for them, they'll be like, oh crap, I was away teaching at this thing. Let me get back to you. So it's mostly just, it's a busy season for teachers right now. So.
Oh, of course, because all the fall things are going on. So we probably need to do signups though for vendors and get that underway because we'll do that. So we'll do vendor signups probably starting Friday. Does that sound good?
Yeah, and we can send an email out to prior vendors and just let them know the sign-up's there.
Yeah.
But also, if you are a vendor or you know a vendor who's in the area, we like to keep our market fresh, so we don't always have the same people. Mm-hmm. So we already have a couple in mind for this year that will be new to it, and we have several that we really want back. So,
definitely.
Yeah, so
we'll see how it works out.
Coming out.
Yep, so if you are a vendor, it does not cost anything to just sign up and see and apply.
Yeah, it is a juried market.
Yes.
So there are only so many spots, so...
Usually around 20. Hey, that's a tail on my face.
We have to see who applies and who's got the most unique stuff against other people and, where it'll fit within...
we're not going to have 10 self-striping vendors. We kind of...
Right. And we want to make sure that if you're going to go through all the hassle of bringing your stuff and setting it up, that you're going to make money.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We have a general idea of what people come looking for, so we try to make sure that we have those for them.
Yeah, those items. I think that is about it. So we'll get that open Friday, and we will see y'all next week.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.